Hey everybody, it's Jen, and I wanted to talk today about creating balance using our breath. If you find that it's easy in the middle of the day to either feel a little spacey or maybe a little heavy and lethargic, and you wonder, like, what can I do? Is a cup of coffee going to help? Is a big lunch going to help? What can I do to find that sense of balance? You may be surprised to learn how powerful incorporating a breathing technique is in creating that sense of balance. So if you want to learn more about that, please stick around. I'm Jen Tarrant, a yoga therapist and holistic lifestyle coach. Thank you for joining me for this moment on creating balance through breathing. So let's just jump right in. Our breath is perhaps the most powerful thing we have at our disposal to create balance in our life. We have our breath with us all the time. We don't have to have a yoga studio. We don't have to have a high ponytail. We don't have to have the perfect pair of tights. We have our breath with us no matter what, sitting at our desk, at home, even in the car, wherever we are. We can take some time to breathe well. Sometimes all that means is concentrating on our breath. And I'm really serious about that. We don't have to do anything in particular to bring our awareness to our breath, and simply being aware of each inhale and each exhale allows us to gain some benefits of a breathing practice just in awareness of our breath. Sometime you're maybe in the middle of something, you have that spacey feeling, or you have that lethargic feeling, or maybe you're upset because of an interaction with someone that didn't go very well. You're not sure what to do. Simply be aware of the breath, and that in and of itself is going to have an amazing effect. Like to take that a step further. Let's start to affect the breath on purpose. Starting to take more intentional inhales and exhales. Oftentimes when I'm working with a client, I call this an intentional breath. It's not a specific practice, it's simply intentional. A robust breath. It has intention behind the inhale, it has intention behind the exhale. And this does quite a few things for us, actually. It gets the muscles of respiration active. When we take a big breath, we can even hear it a little bit more intensely. And then a full, complete exhale, and we can hear and feel that as well. We are using those muscles, and so we get them moving, we get them contracting and stretching, and that's great for the health of our respiratory system. When we can hear our own breath, it has a very positive and calming effect on our mental processing and even on our nervous system when we can hear our own breath moving in our body. So hearing our own breath, really, really positive effect there. And then when we take those more intentional, more robust breaths, we're typically getting in a higher volume and getting out a higher volume of air as well. And when we do both of those things, our respiratory system health is elevated. Just like when we go to the gym and we move weights with our arms, that uses the muscles and increases strength of those muscles. When we take big, full, intentional inhales and full, complete exhales, we do the same thing with the muscles of our respiratory system. We're building their strength, we're building the capacity of our lungs, and so that's going to have a really positive physical effect as well. Another aspect of simply taking that robust breath is when we're thinking, okay, I'm going to take this big inhale, and now I'm going to take this big exhale, our mind gets really focused on that activity. And when we get focused on that activity, we're not able to think about the other stuff that caused us to want to sit and do a breathing technique in the first place. If I'm feeling stressed out, if I'm feeling upset, if I'm feeling spacey, if I'm feeling lethargic, I have recurring thoughts that are driving me crazy. When I bring my attention to my breath, all of that stuff kind of goes by the wayside. because I'm thinking about this now. And so it brings my attention into this focus and releases some of the stress and things that can pop in just as a result of daily life. So that's my number one favorite, is the intentional breath. And then my number two favorite is the alternate nostril breath. This one is more specific, and it requires us to use our hands to kind of plug off a side of the nose at a time to create a very specific breathing pattern. This one, obviously, you're probably not going to be able to do in the middle of a meeting, whether that's Zoom or in person, because it might be a little strange to be sitting in a meeting and all of a sudden you start seeing somebody do this, right? It'd be a little bit strange. But it is a great one to practice when you do have some time on your own. Maybe you're in your car, you're at your desk by yourself, you're at home. It's a great one to do, to just help balance it out. And this one is so great because it creates sort of a center balance of energy in the body. When we breathe in and out the left nostril, that energy is more cooling and calming to our body. And when we breathe in and out the right nostril, that energy is more warming and energizing to our body. And so we could do either one of those, but if what we're really striving for is balance, then we will combine the two. This is how it goes. We will start with the left nostril, and we will breathe out and in the left nostril, and then we will breathe out and in the right nostril, and we'll continue out and in the left, out and in the right, back and forth for, it could be 1 or 2 rounds of breath. It could be a few minutes of breath. It's really up to you, but it's going to have this balancing effect because we are breathing in the calming side and the energizing side, or in the cooling side and then in the warming side. And so we're kind of finding ourselves in the middle. All right, so I mentioned using our fingers to help us out here. Can do this a couple of ways. One is to put the pointer and middle finger in the palm of the hand and use the thumb and the ring finger to alternately close off the nostrils. Or you may prefer to put those 2 fingers right in between the eyebrows, kind of where you can feel that brow bone right there. Either one is fine. It's totally up to you. I find this to be a little bit uncomfortable, so I like to put fingers right on that brow bone area. And so what we'll do is take an inhale and then close off the right nostril and exhale out the left. And inhale through the left. Switch, closing off the left, we'll exhale out the right. Inhale through the right. And switch, exhaling out the left. Inhaling through the left. Let's switch again, exhaling right. Inhaling right. Let's switch one more time for now and exhale. And then release the gesture and return to a normal breath, just in and out the nose. So this can be as fast or as slow as your breath is. I notice that when I cue it, I tend to go a little bit faster, but you may find that my cueing was a little slow for you. So whatever your pace of breath is, do that. And simply switch it back and forth, but begin on the left and end on the left, because that one is the more calming side. It tends to work a little better if we start and end there. Okay, so a couple of thoughts about this. Are there contraindications? There is one, if you can't breathe through one side of the nose, it's going to be kind of impossible to do. So if you do have a stuffy nose, or if you happen to be sick, this is probably not the best time for alternate nostril breathing. And then another one that I would say is, if practicing this causes more stress, then I would not do this one. It's not beneficial at that point if you're starting to feel like panicky or stressful or frustrated because maybe you feel like you're not doing it correctly, then don't worry about it. Go back to that breathing with intention, sort of a robust inhale and exhale. That's going to be a fabulous practice. But if you do enjoy the alternate nostril, you find that you like that balancing of the warming and the cooling energy, this one is really fantastic. I saw a statistic in a study this week that this breathing technique, the alternate nostril, can decrease feelings of stress by about 10%. That's another great reason. If you're feeling stressed out, it's a really good one for that as well. All right, those are my two favorites, an intentional robust breath and the alternate nostril breath, both excellent for creating balance in your body. My question for you this week, Dragonflies, is do you have a breathing practice? And if so, which is your favorite breathing practice or technique to do? Please leave that for me in the comments below. I super love that you joined me for this a few minutes together. And until next time, bye for now.